Hey,
Three, two, one, period. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the
hello.
man. Good morning. And I am the man of the hour, the tower of power, the one and only Lonnie. That is Brian. He might be lying, but he might be crying. You never quite know.
Got my tinfoil hat right up here.
It looks like it. It was
Yeah,
a
there you go.
flat tinfoil hat. You
That's
could be a
me.
it could be it could be a Jewish hat. This is a flat across the top though.
This is a tinfoil studio here. This is
It
the
is. You might be roasting in summertime.
yeah.
Just, it could be. That's. I hope not. Didn't think
No, it,
about
it
that.
does okay. It does okay, and we have ventilation.
You just come out and done.
Ventilation is the key. Oh, I wanted to correction or whatever from yesterday. I was mentioning Wishes in a Jar. The great illustrations by Stacy Tucker, who took photos and turned them into something. And then her son Evan, who's actually the inspiration for it. He is the boy with the pink guitar. Want to give credit where credit is due here. Can't do it without the
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
because without those two, there's no book because there's no idea. So
That's right. So, in theory, you found a muse, and there you go. You have been inspired. I
yeah.
have my muses. My muses are outside in the front yard. they,
Well,
they they cease to move around. They just it froze right there.
Well, Evan is a creative genius, in my opinion. So the stuff he does, if you just watch him, you could write books and have albums. He does songs. I actually performed live with him he was like 8, maybe 7, at the Eagles in front of like 150 people or something, or
I
maybe
think I
not that
remember.
many, maybe 100, but still, it was a good
Yeah, but
crowd.
it was quite a bit. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good place to be at the time. Yeah, most
We were on
definitely.
the bill with Joe Robbins and some other bands. It was pretty wild.
Oh, Joe played that event.
Yeah. That's where he
Cool.
originally told me the Prince story, and we hung out a little bit and just had a good time. And there were several bands playing. I don't know if Steelhead played, but somebody. There were
Did you happen to see the Prince video I sent you?
no. Oh yeah, you threw me in there. I couldn't get it to go on my phone. So
You couldn't. Oh,
no.
that's pretty. You said you're such a Prince fan. I put your face on him, and I thought you'd like that. Anyways, but yeah,
Yeah,
kind
I
of funny.
once I once performed as Prince at a breakdancing competition at the Red Lion in '84, I think, or '85. '85.
Really?
Yeah, I had a breakdancing book that I bought, and then because I had to judge the kids, and there were some great breakdancers. I mean, there was a couple from Portland. It was probably 60 people in attendance. Some little girls came up and did "Material Girl" by Madonna, full on costume lip sync. Their parents were there. There were probably more parents than kids at the event. It was
What
cool.
year was that?
85 at the Red Lion. You would have been 12.
Well, I know that when I was 12, I'm at seventh grade. Breakdancing has kind of gone away right there. Just started to go away, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a heck
But
of a crowd, man. We had probably 8 of them. They brought in their cardboard. It was really cool.
yeah, well, yeah, that was a cool thing though. We were just doing breakdancing and stuff through grade school,
Yeah.
and
Well,
and
there were a
boy,
lot of there were guys 14, 15. A guy was
yeah,
16. I mean, these
yeah,
guys were from Portland, most of them, some of them local, and it was pretty cool. It was a really good show. And it was the night I had a real band coming in, the Dan Reed Network. They're like a major band out of Portland. They were coming in that night. So to make a little extra money, we did that show and we earned money for charity. I can't remember what it was, but it was our Smiles Club event. It was pretty cool.
isn't that funny? People have tendency to go, "Oh, I raised money for this charity," and we're like, "Yeah, so do we." What
Yeah.
charity was it? I don't remember because we've done a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
We
I'm
were
happy with that.
we were fully transparent. What we did was whatever money we had agreed to give them, we had it there. The person was there from the charity, signed that it
Yeah,
was given and all that. So
yeah. No, that's
some of it went to operate the club because we were trying to do shows for kids.
sure. Yeah, if that's not 100%, you know, clear and exactly what the where the money wants to go and where
Yeah,
and actually,
we pretty much gave almost all of it. I think we actually did give all of it because we had our expenses tied into the night show.
well, you have expenses, and that's totally understandable. You
But
know,
I remember now we tied them into the show that night, so that we didn't take any expense out of the breakdance show. It was all, every dime that came in went back out to charity.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, that's great. Yeah, I loved breakdancing back in the day. I wasn't that great, but I wasn't that bad. I could do a lot of fun stuff. By the way, this.
Well, in '85, there it is. Is that Prince? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I actually got to look pretty close to him. I have the costume still. I don't know if I have the wig. I had to do When Doves Cry at a Western bar in
That was
Vancouver.
Pretty good seeing you do that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, if you ever want to get beat up, do Prince in a Western bar. Unless you're really good, and it turned out I was really good because they turned towards me and started liking me, but all these rednecks were like booing me when I came up. So,
well, they're probably booing you only because you weren't doing country.
Well, plus they thought they didn't like Prince, but then I did it really well. And then in the bathroom, I was in there in my Prince outfit, and the guy next to me was a redneck as hell. He goes, "You're good." He goes, "I can't stand that bleep, but you're good." And so he bought me a beer.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, because that was kind of scary in a redneck bar.
Yeah. No, we had breakdance competitions in my 4th and 5th grade and stuff, and I had friends who could actually walk up walls, jump over, spin around, and we would do.
We
had some cardboard. Yep. Well, I couldn't do the
head.
I couldn't do the head spin. That was all.
Yeah, we had a couple guys did the head spin, and then we had lip sync was real popular then instead of karaoke, which is great. You play the music, and the kids were lip syncing, and the girls, 2 girls that were probably 10 did Material Girl, and they had the full Madonna outfits from 1984, 85.
Yeah, it was just quite crazy at that time. It was like
it was wild.
Most popular person in the world, I think, was Madonna. So,
well, and the Red Lion was a good place. It had a nice elevated stage, and it was pretty cool. It was a little expensive, but like I said, I put all the expenses on the night show. It was 2 nights with Dan Reed, and I lost $800 and quit promoting for pretty much the rest of my life. Well, what happened was they were too progressive for this town. Everybody said, "I'm just going to Bart's. It's free." Portland, he was selling out. They ended up opening for Bon Jovi.
Really?
Yeah. And one night we had 12 people in attendance paid. I had to go home to my mom at her apartment on 8th Street and borrow $500. And she said, I'll loan you the money if you quit promoting adult bands.
You're promoting bands and you lost money.
She said, do the kid stuff. Don't do the adult bands. And I will give you this 500. She actually gave me the 500. So I quit promoting bands.
Yeah, not good.
But what we're doing now, we're not trying to make money.
No.
So she'd be okay. Right, Ma? Yeah, she's cool. She said, just don't pull any of that crap I used to pull when I was a promoter, because you had to pull crap.
I know you pulled crap. That's why.
Oh, you even told me about 7 years ago. Keep doing what you're doing, but quit trying to pull crap.
Yeah.
Do it honestly and good, and be honest with everybody, and it'll be fun. And that's what's happening here. People are wanting to do it.
You remember me telling you that, huh? Good.
Yeah, no, that was big. I said, okay, I'm going to start doing things legit and still try to find a way to be creative. And the key is, if you're not trying to make money, you can do anything you want without pulling any crap.
Yeah. And well, the thing is I believe it's that Zig Ziglarism of the, if you help enough people in the world get what they want, you're bound and determined to get whatever you need. So, I think that with my business acumen, by helping everybody else grow their business, mine did extremely well,
Yeah. Oh, I want to give a shout out here. Check out this shirt.
Wild Dogs.
Yeah. In 83, they were the '1 heavy metal band in Portland. They had an album and everything. And
that shirt looks brand new.
Yeah, he just made it. It's Matt McCourt, the lead singer.
He just made it.
I bought it.
Just made it now.
I bought it. I got it yesterday in the mail. They still are kind of a band, but they're all old now. But he has a really funny YouTube page, the Wild Dogs. He was big time.
They should be called part of the Old Dogs. So they should be called now.
Yeah, he'd be the Old Dogs now. But I owe him a life of debt, a debt of gratitude, because I was starting out. I put on this silly show called Minor Rock Wars back in '83, and I made a little
Minor
money.
Rock.
Yeah, it was all it was a battle of the bands, 8 bands at the Orange Peel in Beaverton, and they won prize money and everything. And I made a little money, but he called me and said, "Book the Wild Dogs, and you'll have 500 people, and you'll make money." So we put together Metal Mania '83, and he said, "We'll play for $100." And I said, "Yes," because that's cheap. And we did it at Lung Fungs, and we had 800 paid
You did
people.
Lung Fungs. Where'd you do that? Where's
Lung
Lung
Fungs
Fungs?
in 82nd in Portland, and it seats about 500 in that ballroom, and we had 800.
Well, there's a Lung Fung in near St. Helens. Is that?
Oh no, this is the real original Lung Fung Dragon
Well,
Room.
I don't go there because I always thought it was
Oh.
disgusting. Every time I
No, this
drive
was
by,
awesome.
I
This
see the
had,
name Lung Fung. It just sounds like
Yeah.
it's something gross, and I'm like, I can't go.
oh, this was incredible. This was Lung Fung with the Dragon Room, and it's seated about 400, 450, and
Wow.
we had 800 paid people because of the Wild Dogs. I didn't have to. I just put out flyers. I went to the Coliseum and handed out flyers to everybody, and the
Yeah.
place 800 people showed up that day. Walked out with like over $2,000 profit cash in a briefcase carried by Al Taylor. So Matt McCourt for life. If he sells a shirt, I buy it.
There you go. Well, that's cool. I'm happy that they're still around.
Yeah, he's
Not
a
many bands stay that together that long.
he should be a TV star. He's just funny. He's interesting. He used to ride a motorcycle on stage, which was got us in some trouble a few times. He
I'm
wasn't
sure.
Lung Fung wouldn't allow the motorcycle, but he had a baseball bat looking like an old prehistoric club with spikes, and he was the full. I mean, they were so heavy metal it kind of scared me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
But
no,
the
that's
people
cool.
loved him.
But what year was that?
1983. It was Mother's Day, 1983, May 8th, and
Wow.
yeah, we got lucky though because it was Mother's Day, and people said you're not going to get a crowd there. They're all going to be out picnicking with their moms. Well, it was the worst weather that year. Probably everybody showed up
Wow. Yeah.
because of the
I
bad
was
weather.
10, so I was
Yeah,
I was rocking at home listening to, at that time, 10 years old, I'd be listening to Motley Crue, Theater of Pain.
yeah,
And actually, I don't even think there was Theater of Pain at that time. It
yeah.
was just Motley Crue. What's the first one they did?
That
Well,
was
Theater of
about
Pain.
yeah. That was a little before around the Motley Crue time, actually. Maybe a little right around their first album. They had
Yeah, their first album. Yeah,
Shout at the Devil.
Shout at the Devil. Yep. Well, that's a
Which was
brutal.
actually against the devil, but people thought it was a satanic song.
I know. Yeah, that's because the way it has a very dark beginning of the whole album. It's like, in the beginning there was this, there was that, and there was people who decided to shout at the devil, and then that boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Well, that was
shout at the devil. It was quite a wild CD, actually.
Well,
it was good. I liked it.
Back then, though, '83, that was the apex of metal. And then I would go into my separate room I had at the show and listen to my Manilow and my Streisand and all that. Then I'd come out. I was the last guy that should have been doing heavy metal, but I'd have to come up and talk to the crowd, and they would boo me a little bit because I had short hair.
Well, I think that, like I said, that whole time, it was like Motley Crue started to take over. The hair bands were actually starting to dissipate, even though they were already so big.
83, they were just starting to kick in, man.
Starting to kick in,
Winger came later. Winger, that guy was all about how good he looked, really. Well, I don't even know what song he did. Yeah, there was some
I don't know.
Hair was hitting hard.
Yeah, so but I was
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister is like 85, and I think it's 85. I think that 87 is Guns N' Roses hit 87.
Yeah, 83 though, I went up in front of the crowd and they started, booing me and hissing, and then I started giving them T-shirts, and then they shut up. And then I said, "Who do you want?" I want to get a bigger band than for the Wild Dogs to open for. And they went Twisted Sister. And then they said Metallica. And they yelled all these things. So I eventually booked Metallica, but it fell through.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, no, it was a, and then the other bands that came out there was, I mean, Judas Priest, all those ones are so,
Oh, yeah.
that's 80, let's say 85 right there. Judas Priest is top
80,
of
no, 83. They were killing with You Got
83.
Another Thing Coming. Yeah. And Iron Maiden was all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, and Def Leppard just came and hit it big. I was at the concert when they hit it. When they
I remember them when they weren't even deaf.
Oh man, they were Billy Squire. Remember him, Billy Squire? The guy.
Oh yeah, Billy Squire.
Yeah, he ruined his own career.
How could I forget? Billy Squire had the stroke like me.
Yeah. Well, he was really big, but he did this silly video that he looked kind of gay, and he kind of lost his cachet or whatever. But I went to outside the Def Leppard opens for Billy Squire, and everybody was leaving early. I go, what in the hell's going on? They go, oh, Billy Squire, we're done. We just saw Def Leppard. They're the greatest. And everybody left. And I handed out flyers to everybody.
In Portland?
Yeah, that was around the time Billy Squire squandered his career by doing a kind of a girly video.
I think so Bon Jovi was 86 or 86.
Yeah, Bon Jovi had a concert, $2.92 in 1983.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just coming out and they opened for Rat.
And Rat was the big one, right? There we go. That's
Well,
hilarious.
Rat was just starting out too. It was like wild because I said,
but Rat did nothing. Made 2 songs.
Yeah, but right then they were going to be the explosion Rat because I was thinking they were going to make
actually
bigger than Bon Jovi, but I was wrong.
I know, right? Because they were just so pretty and they were, Bon Jovi was more of a rock and roller. That's funny. Yeah. Bon Jovi ended up being the totally not heavy metal at all. But at first he was, it's like just he had the hair. It was all about the hair.
Yeah, but he had cool pop songs. Did you ever hear of Queensryche from Seattle?
I did hear of Queensryche. Queensryche has got like 2 great songs that I like, I think, in particular.
Yeah. They broke, I think, in 83 or 82, and they had a they had a $2.
Queensryche has 2 ballads that are fantastic. I mean, that's one thing about these rock bands. They're so heavy metal and you can't understand them, but then they make a ballad and it's like phenomenal. I mean, their ballads are always great. Like even I mean, there's not one out that doesn't do that, but I was thinking to myself, Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he can't understand a word he says, but when he sings, he does a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah.
And then not only does he sing great, when he does a ballad, it's like, oh my gosh, man, it's just like he sings like an angel. He acts like a demon.
Oh yeah, he's great. Queensryche had a song called "The Lady Wore Black," and it wasn't really a ballad, but it kind of was. It was wild. And then they had another one, "Silent Lucidity," which
the Silent Lucidity.
That was later, but yeah.
I used to listen to that song on one of my tapes when I was a kid, mixtape. But Silent Lucidity, the Silent Lucidity was definitely on that album because it was like just a peaceful little song,
It was beautiful, but it came a little later, maybe 85 or even later than that. But Queensryche had a band called Zebra opening for them, and they did a $2.92 concert. What they would do is KGON was 92 FM, so they'd do these $2, $3.92 events for up-and-coming bands right before they broke.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's why, I remember, I was doing music here in town, but in that genre, actually, in my middle-aged school years there, that is when I was getting tapes, underground tapes of rappers out of California at the time. I'd get like the NWA, the Kumo D, I don't know, all these rappers. And from the East Coast, I don't know how or why I would come up with a friend of mine who didn't like them. He had a cousin sending him these tapes. I'm like, he's like, what is this rap crap? I'm like, yeah, let me take it and I'll, I made it gold and it was, most popular person didn't know rap in the area. I was like, just promote it before anybody else was, it was pretty cool. And then it's like, Run DMC, the Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys, before they were rap, they were actually punk band, and I had that punk tape.
Yeah.
It was called Pollywog Stew, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was like they were just actually, I think in particular, there were some rich Jewish kids that had talent but didn't know what to do with it. And then MCA, that middle, the guy that passed away, unfortunately, he was the ringleader of the Beastie Boys, and he funneled that into rap. And it was like, oh my gosh, these guys are just, they can do anything type of thing, man.
Oh, they were great. They
Yeah.
what was that? Fight for the Right to Party in '87.
Yeah, that was their first breakthrough song there, the Fight for Your Right to Party, which
Yeah.
I think now it's funny. I think it's probably one of their worst songs, but it was great at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I
Kids
think that,
loved it. Little 10-year-old.
oh, absolutely.
12. Yeah, gosh.
Anytime you can stick it to the man, you know what I mean? In all honesty, it's like, I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the
We're not
law
gonna
won.
take it. Remember that?
We're not going to
that's-
take
that's
it.
an
Yeah,
anthem.
whenever there was a song about fighting against the man, your parents or authority of any figures, it does well. It's kind of funny that we haven't figured that out yet. Anything that stands up and says, F you or anything like that is gonna sell. It's gonna do
Oh
well.
yeah. Well, I think we've all figured that out.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can get a chant going, oh my gosh, we're not going to take it. No, and a scream, and they're even dressed as girls. It was hilarious. That was a Twisted Sisters. Yeah, but Fight for Your Right to Party. I mean, I was in that stage where I really wanted to grow up, and I really wanted to have alcohol, and I wanted to smoke, and I wanted to do all those adult things that are just stupid and obligatory to life as a general. But it's,
you want to cause a little trouble, be a rebel.
Yeah,
that's how we marketed, or we didn't call it marketing then, we call it advertising.
yeah.
And that's how we advertised the show was, hey, Mother's Day's every year, and there's always Saturday to honor your mother. Come on out Sunday, Mother's Day, for some heavy metal. And that was cool too, because they were rebels.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
got it.
Sorry, Mom. I'm going to Metal Mania.
There you go. Yeah, you just got to figure out a ploy, and you made one. Speaking of which, you're talking about Bon Jovi a lot, and it makes me think of Ron Jovi. And Ron Jovi, a local karaoke guy.
Oh, man, we should get him.
That's what I'm thinking to myself. I just talked to him recently, and
wow.
And yeah, I grew up with that guy, and he's pretty funny.
I love that.
He's a funny guy, and he would absolutely love to come on there and do karaoke.
Yes.
So maybe we will do a karaoke hour after the Friday Night Live. It'll be Friday night. What would we call that? We need to change the name.
Still live. You're still live if you're karaoke.
Oh, you're live, yeah.
Live isn't even about the music. It's about the fact that whatever we do on that stage
is live.
Is live.
Okay. Right, there you go.
Yeah.
FNL, baby.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Lip syncing. I know it sounds silly, but it's great because you don't even have to worry about how
Hey,
you
if it's
sound.
live, it's live,
Yeah.
Um,
Lip syncing is fun because anybody can do it.
Well, the problem with lip syncing is that goes in the copyright fringes.
Well, but Facebook is a little lax compared to YouTube. You can try it and see what happens.
Yeah, well,
I don't mind getting a strike because we're not trying to make money.
well, yeah, but yeah, let's look into that. I will.
Yeah, because we're not even
Write that down. You got all the stuff down, inspiration stuff down. Write down the
lip syncing.
Yeah, karaoke and lip syncing.
Yeah,
I think karaoke
already we're violating copyrights by say Joe Robbins does a cover of the Rolling Stones. That's a violation of copyright. Can't use.
Well, that is like karaoke there, I do believe.
Yeah.
But as far as the lip syncing, they will. I think that would bust us because you're playing the song, but it's definitely worth checking into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I see people share things all the time, and they're playing music in the background.
Well, on Facebook, yes, like you said, but on YouTube at the moment,
I'm not worried about YouTube though, because Facebook's our friend. Facebook is
right. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
YouTube is if you
Currently,
want to go back and watch it later.
what's that? Yeah,
YouTube is
YouTube.
if somebody wants to watch it later.
Yeah, I mean, right now we actually, honestly, I know I've been promoting it maybe in the wrong areas. I'm not quite certain. We've had over 4,000 views on that the
Yeah,
last one. That's great. I'm like, wow.
that
Yeah.
excites people. That really, I told a guy the other day we're at 3,800. Well, yeah, I'll play. I'll even learn to play an instrument. If I didn't know it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So, and that's cool because I realize that people, I feel weird because when people don't realize that it's a live feed, on Facebook, and you're only getting one or two people watching at a time, they
Yeah,
start to, they funnel in there, people funnel in, and then you have a dozen or so, 2 dozen. But when I promote it later on and do the rebroadcast an hour later, and then the next day or the next weekend, whatever, on the next Friday, that's when I get all those viewers, when it's not actually live, which is kind of funny, but
yeah.
it's still a live thing. Matter of fact, I need to come up with some more product because I've got one coffee cup to give away right now, and then
Yeah.
you got one probably too. We could probably do, but I need to. You have one still in the box, right?
No, they're both out. I use them in different rooms.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I will get on there and we can order some. We'll talk about that later on. But
Oh, and the main reason, or for me, the main reason to have it on YouTube after you're done with it, for a replay,
yeah,
is so that I can edit clips. It's not even
yeah,
really
yeah, and
about
make it
people watching it.
and make an actual show out of it.
Yeah, because
That's
YouTube
cool.
YouTube might say you have too much copyrighted stuff in there. We can't air it, but they'll let you keep it as a file. Then I can edit.
Yeah, and
That's the key.
we need to get that. I need to figure out how to get that Joe Rogan or Joe Rogan. Joe,
That would be great.
yeah, Joe
You get
Rogan.
Rogan in here lip syncing, man. Oh, you for the rest of my
That'd
life
be
and
good.
everybody else's life. Jeez.
No, Joe
Robbins.
Robbins. Yeah, Joe Robbins.
Yeah, he
And
built
you get
that.
Joe Robbins. You got to figure out. I'm gonna sit on this. I'm not gonna get up from this table until I get that figured out.
Joe Robbins built that nice little thing out there, the Robbins edition. All those places where people live. There's like 12 cul-de-sacs, houses. He built that himself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, with no help from anybody. No, I'm sure. No, he's not a contractor.
Well, you threw me off there. 'Cause I'm like,
I
what?
had you.
You did for a second there, and yeah, but
Well,
you
that
actually,
that brings up a country song. You really had me going. Now I'm gone.
girl,
Now I'm gone.
you really got me going.
Well, remember that song? You really had me going. Now you're gone.
Nope, I don't remember that.
Or I'm gone. I don't know. It's a country song.
I remember the girl. You really got me going.
Well,
You got
that's
me
great.
so I had sleep at night. What song is that? That is
You really got me now by the
really
Kinks.
got me. By the Kinks.
Yeah, they're top
The
notch.
Kinks are great. The Kinks are great. Girl, you really got me going. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. I haven't heard that for a long time. Now you got me thinking about it.
A Kinks tribute band would be good, or at least a tribute show by a singer that does the Kinks. That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, I'm up for anything, and I'm starting to get excited. We have that Matt Dalen who wants to play, and I'm writing down. I didn't do a time yet, but I did confirm what I was talking about yesterday. Yeah.
His great grandfather or great great grandfather, beyond that, actually, great great great, invented the concept of moving an hour ahead versus an hour back twice a year.
Yeah, that's Dayland savings time.
Dayland savings time. Boom.
But yeah, it wasn't quite that great, Mr. Brian. But yeah, I'm excited. It should be a really good show. We've got. There you go. Yeah, your own comedy. What's that called?
That's the what do you call it? The rim shot. But
The rim shot. Yeah.
snare's not on right now because when you're listening to loud music on the PA, the snare will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
during
Well.
the show we'll have that sucker on, and we'll have somebody back there.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I just want to confirm with everybody where.
You mentioned Carson, my son. He's a drummer and guitar player. Get him back. Bow.
Yeah, exactly. Ding ding. And I would love to get Keenan and his band down here. One of them.
Well, that brings up another thing. Let's Zoom Keenan next week and let him come on and talk about the Seattle scene and how to get him down here with the CCAT guys.
Oh, if we can Zoom him live, then he'd be a good person to work with on that. You know what I mean?
But they'll come down for the show. But I mean, Zoom them to talk about it
Oh, sure.
on this morning Zoom. I'd love to. That way, I can talk to my son, and
Oh, sure. Let's do that.
that'd be
Yeah, we can.
fun.
I can invite him anytime. Absolutely, or you can, whatever.
Yeah.
But that'd be great.
Well,
Um.
and your son and daughter would be good on the
Oh
Zoom.
yeah. Well, I'll get them doing something. I'm sure. Mary's only here for a couple months, so a few months. So
Yeah, we got
we
time.
need to.
Let her think about it.
You know,
She'll
yesterday, by the way, I know you've been. You're a California kid, so. But I.
briefly,
Huh?
briefly,
Well,
4 years, 4.5.
yeah. Well, either way, you talked about it before, and I. So I looked yesterday into taking. I thought maybe I'd take Mary and her boyfriend down to Universal Hollywood or it's called
Yes.
Universal Studios. So I've
Yes.
never been there, and I'd like to go.
It's the
And
best
guess
theme
what?
park in the world.
So you said the best theme park in the world. And I'm a huge movie buff, so I think it'd only be fair to go down and do that. You know,
Oh,
that'd be cool. So California, she told me about this as far as Disneyland. I wasn't sure, so I tested the limits on it. And California right now has it set so only any people from California can buy tickets to go to Disneyland and
oh,
any theme park, right? So that I thought, well, I could have friends from California buy these tickets for me, but it says right in the laws, it says each person must be a resident of California.
yeah, but that won't be much longer. They'll
I
probably
hope not.
hope not. But that's incredible. I saw Waterworld outside. It was a Waterworld show. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to make sure that
Unbelievable.
before we go, we're up to par and up to speed on the shows they do have out there, because there's
Yeah.
whatever, because they always have the newest and greatest and whatnot, and I always wanted to see they had Daylight down there,
Oh,
the movie Daylight, which it was Sylvester Stallone movie that was pretty
oh,
cool. They had a
wow.
whole bus that came through and almost killed you. It was
Well,
crazy.
the Waterworld had helicopters,
Oh, really?
but I think they were hooked to bars.
Yeah.
But they'd come into the view. It was wild. The stuntmen were incredible. They had a Wild West stunt guys, and
Yeah, and I'm
unbelievable.
such a huge movie fan. I should have gone there a long time ago, but I mean, you and I have talked about driving down there and going to the game shows, be on a game show.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I mean, I do want to do that as soon as possible. But I want to go to Universal.
Yeah, you got to see where they parted the Red Sea. You got to see Jaws, the shark popping out. You got to see the lagoon from Gilligan's Island. It
All that
was
stuff.
mind-boggling.
I thought the Jaws thing was no. Yeah. Universal Studios. That's right.
Yeah, Spielberg.
Yeah, and the time back in the day, you used to go see the Psycho House and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still around, but
Seems like I
yeah.
saw later in life Desperate Housewives set.
Yeah, well, I'm not a desperate White House
Oh,
wife,
it's a
but you know
great
what?
show. That
Yeah.
show's almost as much drama as working at any office with a bunch of women. Just kidding. But we have Desperate Housewives of Longview, Kelso.
Oh, I know most of them.
Well, it's funny because that's why so many people watch that show. You could relate to Desperate Housewives everywhere.
Yeah, I swear. Yeah, it's funny. I do remember Desperate Housewives, and they also had a bottle of wine on there, and now I
Oh, yeah.
swear, maybe because I'm that age now, but every woman I know about that age has a bottle of wine. They're like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
ready to pour a bottle of wine. It's like, okay, sure, whatever.
Well, remember that saying, some famous author, that, most people live lives of quiet desperation. You heard that?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, it's a theory. And I think it's true. Most people live lives of quiet desperation. That's why that show was so popular. It was loud desperation. It was everybody throwing their thing. Yeah, it was cool. Drama for the sake of drama. We could all relate to that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I watched I think this morning, as far as it was a CIA agent. Actually, he was talking about what he's done, not events he's done, but about how he reads the government and people and whatnot, It's pretty cool actually, and I believe on most everything he says because the way he reads it is very similar to the way I
Yeah.
read people and stuff. It was pretty cool. I was like, he's like the Briggs, the Meyer Briggs, he's like explaining everything and how he categorizes people and how he can do it pretty quick. He's like boom, 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 and it was just really interesting. There was
That is really interesting because that ties into quiet desperation. Most people, living in quiet desperation, they glom onto a conspiracy theory, and it gives them something worse than quiet desperation. It gives them anger for no reason and pain and all that. But they're feeding an addiction for some feeling.
well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go, basically people have a tendency to fall for conspiracies actually all
Yeah.
the time. And I do too. I'm not. I let every rabbit run its race. In other words, I'll listen to it, and I'll always say, always keep your mind open, just not far enough for your brain to fall out. you
Yeah.
know. And because I mean, I can believe in, somebody comes to the house and says, "Oh my gosh, my car got broken into," or there's some guy down the street coming with a knife. Well, I've seen enough horror movies to realize that person may be the murderer himself. You know what I mean?
Uh, yeah.
They come there and they say, "Oh, I need help! Help! Knock on the door! Somebody's outside. Gonna kill everybody," and that person is them. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a
Well,
second
yeah.
here.
It's like that.
I'll listen
that
to your story.
that woman recently that started the rumor and started pushing it that there was a serial killer cutting off limbs and there was
Oh, in Longview
no
also.
truth to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
weird.
that's. I thought that was a pretty good joke they pulled on the set though, with the all the people dying out in the field.
Yeah, that's good because it was a setup and then you got them out of it.
Everybody's dying out in the fields. Yep. But come to find out.
If somebody comes to your house or you go to their house and the first thing they do is launch into some conspiracy, that's not good.
Yeah, I know, and that gals, and
It
that's
takes
what.
over their lives. I have several friends. It's just taken over their lives. Can't talk to them about anything fun at all.
Yep, and that's how Facebook is. When we were kids, you're taught never talk about religion and money and politics at a
Yeah.
party.
Talk
Never.
about sports, man. I talked to this guy, that
Well, I don't.
Steve
Yeah.
guy, yesterday, and I knew a story about a sporting event he was involved in, a football game. That guy talked for 20 minutes.
Yeah. You're right. You did. I remember that. And
He
actually, I
told he was
appreciated that because I'm glad you knew that because Steve and I don't see eye to eye at all. He's a pretty prominent businessman, but he's the one in the group of my men group that him and I don't really see eye to eye.
Yeah, I actually had to correct him on something, though. He said that he went to the sideline after the third touchdown for the guy he was blocking for and said to Stan Hanks, shit, Stan, these guys are pushovers. He said, hell, Stan, these guys are pushovers. So he was like, oh, wow, that is what I said. So sometimes you have to correct these people.
Did you tell him that really?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, well, that's funny. No.
He
Anyway,
did get one thing slightly wrong, and I just didn't tell him.
yeah, well, he's not a bad guy at all. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he was fun.
He's his family's he's got a great family.
Oh, incredible family.
Yeah, his family actually, the Dolls, his brother Rob, I think it is, right?
Yeah, safety guy.
Yeah, Rob is a great, nice guy. He's always been very, very kind and is often in my fundraisers and so forth. And then their father, they own the chapel on the hill over in Kelso, right?
Dahl McVicker Funeral Home.
Dahl McVicker
Chapel on the
Funeral.
hill is across the street. It's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the funeral home people and
the Dahl McVicker people, yeah, and
Kenneth Dahl.
And Kenneth Dahl, yeah, and his mom, actually, Steve Dahl's mom, I think it was, or dad, I'm not quite certain, either way, one of them. But when my mother passed away, temporarily, we didn't have any money to buy this stuff. You're just lost, you know what I mean? You're like, what am I gonna do here for the next, until this figures out and until it all plays out? And he was like, your mom was a friend of mine because she was she was my physical therapist and massage therapist, and she treated them really well. So
yeah,
they in
Rosemary Dahl.
Yeah, well, we had an issue. So we were buying, what we were doing was we had a plot of where we were gonna bury her, but uh the person who with that actual certificate, that plot, was out of the country on vacation.
Oh,
So it was like for 2 weeks we had to store my mom's body over at this place. It was just like, or at least 2 weeks, 2, 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I don't know, 3 weeks, four, I don't know. But either way, we had to store my mom over there, mom's body over there. And they didn't charge us a thing. So that was really
and
cool.
that was either one of or both. They were
Yeah.
both great people. Rosemary was the matriarch of just goodness in this community, and then
Yeah.
the father was the steward of Kelso. He made sure with some other guys that Tam O'Shanter could never be sold. And so
No, really.
it's
That's
a
cool.
permanent fixture, and it's incredible. And that led to like $5 million in donations to build one of the best baseball parks in the state. Right now, our Babe Ruth field is the best in the state, I believe.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. No, but yeah, I remember to refrigerate a body and so forth at the time, it was not cheap. It was like, a couple $100 a day or whatever it was, some silly thing. And they said, don't worry about it. We've got her because she was a sweetheart and she helped us and we're helping her. So it was really cool.
Yeah,
And
you
then,
can't get better than that. I mean, those two,
nope.
and I don't know the other two that well, but Rob Dahl is a stand-up dude, and he'll help it anytime you need it. He'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob's helped me do I think he did the Salvation Army delivery of toys and stuff last year, didn't he? Did
He
you
was
see him
with
there?
us. He was right there, man. He was
Yeah,
with
there you go.
us. Yeah,
Yeah, I figured he was one of the guys. Yeah.
yeah.
I got him to volunteer, and he's volunteered for me multiple times, so that's cool.
His son
Yeah.
went to school with my son Keenan. His son Ryan. Ryan's a hell of a guy, and we did a lot of events together at the school. Just a great family. I mean, they are just an excellent family.
Well, Steve Dahl was one of the very big wigs at J.H. Kelly as well,
Yeah.
and he left from there to get into real estate, and that's how that's how I learned him, because he Butch Henry was a big wig at
Yeah.
J.H. Kelly, and then Steve took his job there at J.H. Kelly, and then when Butch decided to leave, get out of real estate here locally, for the most part, he wanted somebody to take over his position, and he asked Steve, goes, what do you think about getting into real estate? So then Steve left J.H. Kelly and took over Butch's stuff here, and
Yeah.
now he manages all that property, and he owns multiple. I think he said he just purchased some properties himself. He's got a fourplex, and he's got, But I was also told yesterday that one of the men in my little group there, who had a couple hundred properties, I was told that Mr. Vince, Vince. Anyways, Vince has sold all of his properties except for that one apartment complex, that big giant.
Yeah,
apartment complex.
I heard Scuttle Buddies was putting together a major deal with. He needed money for this major deal, but it fell through. So I don't know what is.
Oh, really? So what deal were you here listening to?
I was listening to the cabal of local business guys. I was like a
Is that what you
sponge.
call? Yeah, no, that's good. That's
I
true.
didn't talk at all.
I didn't know it had fallen through. I didn't know the deal had fallen through, but
I know more about finance and
I know, right?
and taxes and
Yeah, well, that's why
legislation.
I don't invite people too much, because it's like one of those, well, once in a blue moon I can invite people, but usually I invite people when it's my turn, because then I pay for, I don't want anybody else to pay for. The way that little group works is we have to have a nice restaurant somewhere, and then when it's your turn, you don't get to question the bill ever.
Yeah.
If they want to start drinking, they start drinking. If they want to have extra dessert, they have extra dessert. You just don't get to question it. I mean, even though we give each other rations of shit all the time, but you figure it's a pretty exclusive little lunch group. There's actually 14 of us, I think, now, but
well, I was glad I had a small group, and to me, it's a
Yeah.
one-time deal. I don't need to go again, but it was
Yeah.
there's a guy named Sean, and he knew more about legislation, real estate taxes, and things that I was interested in, and gave me so much information.
Yeah, Sean's a
Just
good friend
him
of mine.
alone, just him alone. I was like, whoa, I feel like I have a professor here.
Right. That's how I feel when I talk to Sean about certain
Yeah.
things. I'm like going, dude. I mean, he's a very his numbers on everything. I mean, he is probably, and I'm not sure, he may have purchased Vince's properties, honestly, because
Some of them.
I think that in the last year he has literally gained 100 properties.
Yeah.
Or 100, maybe 200. I don't even know how many he's got right now, but
Yeah.
Sean has a lot of real estate now, and he has a couple bar. He has like 2 bars at least. Yeah, 2 bars, and I don't know. That's why he stays busy on his own stuff, and I don't get to see him that much anymore.
Yeah, that was really informative and interesting. So, and I won't spread any of the information they told me.
Yeah,
So.
it's bad. It's all bad stuff. They're just jerks. They just like to talk.
No, but I don't want to give their strategy out
Information
to other
out.
people
Yeah.
and tell them, because they were talking about deals that could happen. I'm not going to tell
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Yeah, and
I say
that's
nothing. And I tried to pay for my own meal, but they poo-pooed that.
Yep. That's but normally yesterday it was an odd one because when the message went out, it said Dutch over at Milk City, because we're not formally in our meeting right now. Normally we have a gentleman named Danny Willis who puts the whole meetings together every Tuesday. And Danny's actually probably the wealthiest one in that whole group.
Waste control.
Well, yes, but the family, yes, owned Waste Control. They sold now, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He got out of that himself. His brothers ran that. Danny was a person of finance and banking. He was the guy that I don't know. I don't want to talk turn, so I won't. But
for me, that was fun, and I don't want to go to the regular ones where there's a lot of people, but that was a nice little.
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing, honestly. And then yesterday, of course, I didn't even get to. I gave up my seat because I had to. They told us we couldn't even have more than 6 people. I didn't know.
Yeah.
When I invited you, which I absolutely, I'm glad I did what we did. But when I invited you, we had 4 people going, so I was fine with that. And all of a sudden, 2 other guys showed up. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just sit at the table with the LD. Now, LD, by the way, has his house for sale. He told me I can have a fundraiser at his house between now and the time he sells it.
Yeah.
Right, end of summer. But because of COVID, I mean, but his house, he can hold up to like 200 people. It's insane, or 100 people at least. Usually they have like 50 or so. And his house is absolutely stunning. His house is up on Bunker Hill, I think it is.
I like that guy. I like it. LD.
He's a super good guy. He's right now, he's in the currency. He's building. He has almost finished the kitchen for Facebook down in California, their headquarters. He's building that right now. So it's pretty cool. And he said that he has another place in particular. They asked him to do another one. Facebook has, so he's going to be doing another kitchen for them very soon.
Yeah, I met him at the end just as we're leaving. If I had it to do over again, I'd sit in his table to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, we
it's talked funny a lot too, because there was some interesting body language and the whole concept.
He's very old school.
2 of the people basically didn't acknowledge I existed, which is fine, and wouldn't look at me or anything, and that's cool. And then Sean, when he came around so I could face him, he talked to me a lot, and Steve talked to me a lot. The other 2, I almost felt like they didn't want me there, which is okay, but yeah, they didn't look at me once. It was hilarious.
Scott and Dan.
More talk. Well, you're not supposed to give up the names.
I didn't give it first.
That's okay. Well, I'm fine with that.
But,
I'm like, whatever. Because all I need is one guy to talk to. I ended up with 2, and then I met LD. I thought, wow, if I'd sat with him and Steve, that would have been a hell of a time.
Well, you should drug out those guys. You knew them.
No, I want to. You could tell. I respected that. So I talked to Steve, and I found the thing that he really liked, which is a moment in his life that he just thinks about. That they were top of the world when he was a blocker for Kelso, and the guy broke the record for rushing yards. And that moment, that night, he thinks about that. I'm sure he loved talking about it. I saw him light up.
Yeah, he lit up and was like, well, and he can recite that whole play. It's funny. That was just like the Robin Williams movie, the football movie. What was that? Best of
Best
Times.
of times.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're like going, how can I go back 40 years and play that night over again? You know, and he could recite that thing real quick. That was pretty funny. Good job on that one. Yeah, that was.
Well, yeah, and that reminds them of a moment they were great, and then he probably uses that in his life now. You know, why they did everything right is why it works so well.
Yeah, he was like, these guys stayed off each side. I had a straight shot the whole way. He has relived that night over and over and over. So
Oh
good
yeah,
job.
he was a center snapping the ball, and he would look up and see the running back is already through, and everybody's afraid to tackle him, and it was all about the blockers. They still to this day, when I talk to a guy about that, they goes, those linemen were awesome. It was the line, man. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's cool. No, well, I'm sorry, those other two guys.
No,
were,
no,
you
no.
know,
I was happy about it. I didn't want to get into a conversation about the stuff they were talking about. I didn't know enough. And all you need is one guy at a table. You only
well,
need one guy.
you know how one guy is in that group. He's very nice, but he is very, I want to say, his brain's always flying on working on other projects. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't offended by it. It was
Oh,
cool.
okay.
I was actually happy with it. I didn't really want to get in a conversation with their stuff because I knew nothing about it. So I just listened.
Although we did talk about going down to that shop afterwards, and we forgot about it.
Yeah, I want to do that. See, I'd like to talk to him more in that environment. We always have a
Yeah.
great time. Yeah, no, there's no problem with it. It's just some people don't like to go to group lunches like that because the other people they don't know. Find one guy and then
Yeah.
find something he likes. You can even ask him about what he does, and then you don't have to talk for the rest of the hour.
Well, like LD and I like LD. We don't have anything in common for the most part at all, really. But
He's got sense of humor. He's
got a sense of humor,
he's a
and
thinker and a fun guy.
oh yeah, he's yeah, and he's an older gentleman. He's like my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
when I say like my dad, he's like just the same type of personality a little bit. You know what I mean? He's or more like my uncle, I guess, where he's been very, very successful in his business, but it's
Yeah,
just,
I like.
by the way, he's selling his house right now. If he sells that house for $4 million, it'll sell within one day, according to Sotheby's of whatever it's called, the real estate
Yeah.
company. But he goes, I'll probably sell it for a little more, but if it sells for $4 million, it'll sell within a day. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I got so much out of just listening to those other guys. It was good. I didn't want to interrupt at all. I wanted to hear what they were saying. They were talking about property values and when to do things and how to shield and everything legal and on the up and up. It just that they had thought about every thing about it and every form you have to fill out, and it was interesting. I found it fascinating, actually.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you liked it. No, I think the reason why I haven't asked you to go before is because the guys are a little pretentious, and I think that ends up coming across in a they're really good guys, but sometimes they come, it's just they are who they are. I mean, I say
little Mark Morrissey, we call it. They were acting a little Mark Morrissey.
There you go. Yeah. No, but yes,
which
you're
is
right.
Okay.
Actually.
That's a stereotype, but that's okay.
Yeah, Mark Morrissey, that's hilarious. But no, well, it was kind of.
Well, did you know Mark Morris's sports slogan and their slogan as a school in general was Mark Morris, we're better than you.
We're better than you.
And it's okay. And it's okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I call it my little millionaire men's club. I'm the only one that's not a millionaire in that club. So, but you know what? If I hang out with them long enough,
I didn't find them that pretentious. I just, not so much pretentious. They just had things they had to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we talk about big things. It's pretty cool a lot of times.
Yeah, I liked it.
We have big discussions, and we're like Bill Ammon's group and his men guys. I call them kingmakers, or they want to be, kingmakers. And
yeah, I like that group too. That's
I've taken Bill to that lunch before, actually, and he is like, damn, Lon. He's like, but everybody looks up to Bill, because he's Bill. And I'm like, he's considered a kingmaker, but for that reason, because he has the ears of 500 people, or he did. of hundreds of men a day, just going, hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Well,
just
that group is a kick, man. They're fun. They talk about anything from World War One, even. They'll talk about anything or local
they,
politics, or
yep, they do.
they like to
And
talk
then,
about the summer after they graduated. That's a common
and
thing.
yeah, and you walk into his barber shop, which he's not any longer, but you walk into his barber shop and he makes you the prize. You know what I mean? He makes you the coolest person in the room. He's like, oh, everybody, this is Brian. He is a great guy. He's helping me on this or that or whatever,
Well, he even went better than that. I'd walk in, there'd be 6 guys sitting there. Hey, everybody, this is Brian. He's really smart.
Right.
And I said, okay, whatever this guy wants,
There you go.
whatever
Yeah,
you need.
he knows exactly how to pull those strings.
He's
I
real
mean,
smart. And I went, fuck, that's awesome. I don't know
you
if he's
know,
telling the truth. It don't matter. At that moment, I feel like an expert.
early on, of course, Bill would cut my hair as a 2-year-old kid because him and my father were friends from high school.
That's
They
pretty
ran
young
around,
for him to be cutting hair.
right when I was 2. Yeah.
I
Anyways,
know that was bad.
but anyways, no, but as an adult, when I finally came back to Longview and I started to get into business in particular, he showed me some people, introduced me to them, and he also not only that, but like I said, he helped me dedicate. I met Joe Mosley Joe Moses. Joe Moses, and I saw him on the daily, and Joe Moses. I got to dedicate the basketball floor at Ari Long to Joe Moses, and that was really really cool. And then I met the governor, Greg Wire, and that's when I realized maybe I shouldn't have got these tattoos on my body because I felt ashamed because I went out and I played golf on this fundraiser. That's probably my first fundraiser. First or second fundraiser I did, golf tournament. I get out in the golf course. I can't wear, it was hot, so I couldn't wear regular clothes, long clothes. I had to wear my golf stuff. I get out there and I'm on the golf course, in the golf, in my golf thing with my cart. And my cart was Mike Gregoire, right? So he's my partner, and I realized I've got these tattoos on my legs and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah, but what do they say?
I eventually said to him, I said something, I go, oh God, I noticed it. I go, oh, you have a tattoo on your arm. And he goes, because I felt like an idiot. I felt like an absolute idiot because I had tattoos. You know what I mean? That's how life.
You shouldn't feel like an
That's
idiot.
how much life has changed in the last 10, 20 years.
They should feel like idiots if it bothers them, not you.
Well, this
is terrible. If it bothers them, they need to get.
It didn't bother him at all.
Yeah.
And then
you know what I mean? You were worried. I
was worried because you just certain things you just feel weird about, And so
don't feel weird about it. They should feel weird.
Well, I don't now. I'm totally comfortable with myself now, and I've got stupid tattoos. I know that because I did stupid things. So does everybody else. Everybody in the world does mistakes and stupid tattoos. So it doesn't bother me at all. Zero. But at the time, so I'm on this golf tournament on this golf course out here at Minton Valley Golf Course with Mike. Is it Gregoire? Yeah, Mike Gregoire, and we have these 2 guys behind us, right? And these 2 guys behind us, they're not playing ball. They're not playing the game. And I'm like, these guys are looking nice. They're not dressed super sharp, but they're dressed just nice like golfers. But I can tell they're not playing golf. And I'm like, who the hell are these guys? Finally, I go to Mike. I go, hey, what are these 2 guys here? What are they? He goes, they're Secret Service, Lonnie. Yeah. I go, oh, you're shitting me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it dawned on me that I keep having these Secret Service guys find my golf balls. It was so bad. I'm like shaking the balls over to the right and left over the hill. And this guy's like, I'll get it, sir. And I'm like going, I thought it was like servants he had, but they're actually Secret Service. It was crazy. Yeah. I was like, but it was cool. Everybody's a human. And it was just like, oh yeah. All of a sudden I see on his arm, he had some military, because my dad had a USMC on his arm. And so did this guy. It wasn't a USMC. I can't remember what he had, but it was a service, a military service thing.
Well,
But either
I
way,
met the governor through Bill at Bill's shop and
yeah.
Inslee, and he
Oh,
wouldn't.
Ensign, yeah.
Inslee wouldn't care if you had a tattoo on your face. He treats everyone like an individual. He's an awesome man. So
Yeah, I thought
yeah, I
Ensign was
wouldn't
pretty
worry
nice too.
about it. If you don't be embarrassed by your tattoos, they should be embarrassed if it bothers them. That's my theory.
No,
If it
I've,
bothers
and
you, you've got a problem, not the guy with the tattoo.
yeah, it's funny, but ever since that time, whenever he would have a military, a political person come in town, Dino Rossi,
Yeah,
Ensley, or anybody like that, he would ask me to come and be his his
liaison.
ambassador and meet everybody, and I'd be like, yeah, sure. And usually I would try, but
Yeah,
sometimes I know when it's just Bill is trying to use me a little bit as well. I love him to death. I mean, I do love him. He's great. But I'd be like, I'm not sure if I can't always get over there, Bill, because I'm like, I have a regular job too.
yeah.
So it was like,
He had me do it one time when you couldn't. I think it was when we met Inslee and Arn talked and Teresa Purcell and all that.
yeah, see, there you go. It makes you feel kind of good though.
Yeah, it made me feel great. I didn't feel used. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. And
And
it gives you a little power at the table. It feels like, you feel like you met people, like you're actually having conversation with them, not just going to their place. And I've gone to places up in Olympia, and I've met all these people anyways, and knocked on the door and said, hey, I'm Lonnie. And I've pandered to them, and I've taken them to lunch or dinner or whatever it has been. Just depends on what we need to have done. And I hate saying that I'm on a political party unless it comes down to the wire you are writing on that ballot. I have to. And that's one thing I hate about on the ballot themselves, saying you belong to a political party of some sort. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which just drives me crazy
Well, you
because,
can go as an independent. I
well, I
told
do, but
I told Inslee though. I said he was wearing a flannel shirt and looking very Kelsa. And I said, I like the regular guy get up, man. That's a great move. And he laughed. He didn't get mad about that. He laughed.
no, that's good. Yeah,
And he was kind of joking that I could be his costume guy. We were talking about outfits and get ups.
yeah.
I only
So
talked to him for about a minute, but he was real. He could, a lot of politicians would get upset if I said, hey, nice job wearing the regular guy get up. That means, that's a costume. He was okay with it.
okay, so I just let you know, I just got a message back from Ron O'Neill. D Ron. It's actually D Ron
D-Ron.
O'Neill.
I
D
like
Ron, yeah.
that. D-Ron. You could
He's
be D-Lon.
Yeah, he's D Ron O'Neill. He's one of the
D-Ron.
rappers, but he's in Minnesota. He said, I thought you guys were here. And I'm gonna tell him no, but what I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna say, we're gonna figure out how to do this, to do it live, not right now, but we will get him back on here. You know what I
Can you
mean?
invite him on the Zoom next week or even tomorrow?
Well, I can't imagine. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe.
Why?
I don't know. But we could do
Can you
that.
get up in the morning and eat breakfast?
Yeah, I can figure it out.
Yeah,
But I'm saying,
we can get him on tomorrow, and you know what he'll say? I don't have a Zoom account. He'll say, D-Ron, get a Zoom account.
yeah, well, if we get a Zoom account, well, we can talk about it for sure.
He'll do
Most
it.
definitely.
No, that's the way to go. We get him on. We can talk to him, get to know him before we commit.
Yeah, no, for certain. But either way, we have to get him. Yeah, make sure he has
Minnesota.
a Zoom account. One up. Either way, I heard
Well,
this.
he can get one. It's free, but Minnesota would be a great one because there's so many people here from Minnesota. Wes came from Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I went
hundreds.
on his SoundCloud, or it was, listen to some of his rap. It's pretty
Good.
darn cool.
Yeah,
But,
I want to see it too. Yeah, seriously, get a hold of old D-Ron and say, get a Zoom account. We'll chat the next day or two and get you ready to do something. We'll get you
I can
on
do
the.
that.
We'll get him on the air somehow.
Yeah, we will. By the way, so we are at that magical hour. It's the
Yeah.
pound hour, folks.
Good
Yes.
show. Good stuff.
Rochambeau. It's time to do this. I think
Rochambeau, 8 in a row. I've lost.
8 in a row. This will be number 9 right here if you lose it,
Bringing mine
baby.
up. I'm doing it.
Ready?
Go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, tie. One more. Boom, boom, boom. Paper's winning lately. That's good. That's a good sign.
That's 9 in a row. I be quick and you be slow.
I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Is
Sayonara.
this thing on?
It's barely on.
Thing on.
It's on. It's on. Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Turn out the lights. The
The party's over.
Thank you.